Hey everybody, welcome to the Crit House. I am Jeff Larson, and we are continuing our My5 series today with Abe Pildis, who has been a photographer for decades. Abe worked early in his career as a photo stringer for places like Downbeat Magazine. Was the art director at Capitol Records in Hollywood. And amongst other things, he has had solo shows around the world in London and Los Angeles, Milan, Amsterdam, and Zurich. He's been featured in major magazines. He was an instructor at colleges in the Los Angeles area as well. And Abe, thanks for joining us on the Crit House. It's really nice to have you.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, it should be, I think, a fun conversation. Abe has chosen 5 images that we will take a look at and talk about today from Jacques, Henri, Lartigue, Weegee, Irving Penn, Mary Ellen Mark, and the great Ray Metzker. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, I gave like just a thumbnail cursory for what is a very long career, and I know that it was not enough to represent you as a photographer. Like, tell everybody here like who you are and what you are as a photographer.
Well, in terms of the photography world, I'm a small fish in a big sea. So, because there's a gazillion photographers out there.
Yes.
But I can say that I'm happy that the older you get, the more things you get to be. I've had a long career, and it hasn't ended. I'm still very active. Now I'm very interested in certainly my archives, my legacy, and books. I'm a fan of books. I like photo books. I have a lot of them, and I've published a few, or had a few published. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, your books, Art Deco, Bijou, Movie Palaces.
Yes, and most recently was Starstruck, which is a book about Hollywood Boulevard.
Wow.
And it's published by Deadbeat Press here in Los Angeles, and got a great review from the New Yorker earlier this year, and so I was really proud of that.
Very nice. I mean, you're going to get a good review. That's where you want to get it from. That's nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations. So you picked 5 images, right? I said it's got to be 5. What did you go through in that process? I happen to know it wasn't that easy for you, but
no, it was even though I don't try and take pictures like anybody else. I'm a very visual person, and there were a lot of photographers who I liked and who I would say influenced me because I was paying attention to them. So it was very difficult to come up with 5 when at least I could have narrowed down my list to 50, and then you really twisted my arm to make it 5.
Yeah. So the story for you viewers out there. So Abe sent me images, 10 images from 5 photographers, and said, you pick which 5 they'd be. And I said, nope, you got to choose yourself. and so he did. And these let's take a look at your 5 images. Your first image, we go back a long ways to Jacques Henri Lartigue, and I remember when I first saw this image, and somebody explained to me how there's that angle in the tire because of the way that the shutter exposed while the car was moving fast, and I thought that's an amazing image because people are going backwards, and so tell us about this one and why this is here, Abe.
Well, I have the same feeling about that, and it's one of the first images that attracted me. And I looked at it and I said, "Oh wow, what's going on here?" And like the driver is sharp and static, and the wheel is distorted and it's going to the right. So it's there's a sense of movement. It's speeding off to the right, and the people in the background are speeding off to the left, and I just tried to figure it out. I think I was probably, like maybe 18 or 20 years old when I first saw that, even before I started taking pictures. And And it was just then I finally figured out that the Lartigue was following the motion, so he was panning when he took the picture, which shows the motion. It also stops the motion. It was just an amazing image for me. And then later, having kept that in my mind, I saw the other images of Lartigue, and he was taking pictures of, I guess, the upper crust of France. Like he was a fashion photographer.
Yep.
He did a wonderful series of people playing tennis. Rich people playing tennis. And
your second image that we will talk about is from Weegee, New York City, I assume.
Yes, well, or Chicago. I don't remember exactly, but I think it's New York City. And he was also an early, when I started looking at photography, I saw this guy. I said, wow, this guy is taking pictures of, he's an ambulance chaser. So he's, whenever there was a call or something happened on the streets, or there was a murder or something, Weegee would rush over and take pictures. So I got interested in that. Here's a guy who's not afraid to do that. And then he was also always searching. So he liked distorted images, and he took pictures in fun houses, or he had an attachment for his lens that he could make contort people's face. So he had a lot of fun with photography, in addition to trying to get the nitty-gritty. So I think I was attracted initially to the nitty-gritty, but found out that he was really much broader than that.
Your third image is from Irving Penn. Now, this would not have been the image that I would have. I know about this body of work, but his portraits are, I think, better known. And you chose this one. Tell us about this and why.
Well, I was very impressed by his small trades, and I have that book, and have some other images in other books of Irving Penn. But this is in one of the books, and I just spent hours with this pictures, because Penn was a master of composition, but especially in his fashion
Yes.
pictures. But in this is just so tight. And even though he's made it look like it wasn't so tight because of the burnt match and the dirt and all of that, which I'm sure he arranged every speck on this image. But if you look closely, you can see that the two die above the wine glass there are 10s, and then the other die is 6 and 4 is 10, and then another die 6 and 4 is 10, and then he started playing with the ellipses in the wine glass and in the cups and in the chips. And if you look to see, and even the chess piece that he's chosen, also mirrors those curved shape, all against the things that are anchoring, like the card that's straight up and down that anchors the kind of the center of the picture, but the other cards that are at angles, all of those edges point to something else. I mean, this is just so tight and he's made it look like it's loose. Just an amazing photographer. I love Irving Penn.
Yeah, how can you not? So Mary Ellen Mark is your fifth image. Amazing image. And I showed you before we started, but I have that image on my wall right there. And so when you sent it to me, I was very excited, because I knew that we had something about us that was simpatico. So great image. Tell us about why this is here for you.
Well, this guy, even though he's probably the mahout to this elephant, he looks like the elephant's in control there. But well, there's a few reasons I like this image. One is because I have a large collection of animal pictures, not pets, but not necessarily pets. But Mary Ellen Mark is just fearless. you know, and this was from a book about circuses, and she not only did she do circuses in India, where this is from, but in Mexico, and she was just a fan of circuses, and she has a large collection of circus pictures. Initially, I was attracted to her because of Ward 81, which is another book that she did where she was taking pictures in an insane asylum.
Yeah.
And then when I started following her work, I was impressed by the pictures that she took in Mumbai and Bombay of I guess prostitutes on a famous street in Mumbai.
Yeah.
And then I read more about that, and it took her 8 years to get accepted there. So she kept going back each year trying to make a connection to see if she could take some pictures of prostitutes and their customers, and had a very hard time. She was shunned, she was spit at, things thrown at her. And I guess after 8 years, a madam befriended her and said, "Okay, you can take pictures." And I was impressed by her tenacity there, and to keep going and going until she got what she wanted.
Ray Metzker with this grouping of images, and this also is just iconic and amazing. Tell us about why this is here for you.
Well, I was really fortunate to be a colleague of Ray Metzker at Philadelphia College of Art, and Ray was teaching photography there, and I was teaching design. And Ray was also a street photographer, so I was interested in his street photography and his sequence photography.
Yeah.
But I realized that sequence photography was a way to extend the static image of a photograph, because I mean, even though the photograph is just a moment in time, it freezes that moment and it's static, and then you can look at it and it doesn't change. You can just enjoy the photograph. But if you take more than one photograph, or you take a series of photographs, you can make a story, and it's kind of like, I call mine paper movies, and you can extend that photograph to move, and even make those, say, 5 images or 50 images. You can make that continue even after the person has looked at the image. So that was just a way to just push photography further than just taking one image. So that was really important to me.
Well, so Abe, it's what a fascinating group of images, and it's fantastic, by the way, also to hear how your history has been affected by these images as well. I greatly appreciate you coming on the program. Thanks so much.
I have one more thing to say. These 5 photographers didn't just take pictures of weddings or of rock and roll, or of landscapes. So all of these photographers have what's in common is that they were all over the place. So they were taking pictures of everything.
And that's important too. You know, one of the things we hear people say is, you know, I'm a portrait photographer, I'm a wedding or a landscape photographer. To be able to be a photographer, right? And it seems like that's what you've done in the broadness of the work, at least of the work that I've seen of yours.
You have to. I'm interested in lots of different things. So if I'm interested in something, my way of having it instead of buying it is take a picture of it.
Well, Abe Pildis, a pleasure talking to you on the Crit House in a My5 series. And I want to thank you all also for watching the Crit House.
And thank you, Jeff. It was a pleasure to be here.